All right, let's dive in. We tend to think of AI as just another tool, something we can manage and control. But what if that's totally wrong? A really interesting piece by Guy Lakeman argues that we shouldn't just manage AI, we need to lead its evolution. Today, we're going to break down his strategic blueprint for how to do exactly that. So, right off the bat, the author throws a curveball. AI isn't just a smarter spreadsheet or some fancy software. The central idea here is that AI is actually an engine for evolution. You got to think of it less like a hammer you pick up and more like a new kind of DNA, a system that can learn, adapt, and literally create things we've never seen before, all on its own. And yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If AI is this massive evolutionary force, how in the world do you steer it? It doesn't matter if you're running a huge company or you're just trying to get smarter with your own work. How do you actually build a team to guide that process? Well, this blueprint lays out the answer.
So, where do we even begin? Well, according to the author, the foundation for all of this isn't some super complicated 100-point plan. Nope. It all comes down to three simple but really powerful pillars, and they absolutely have to work together in perfect harmony.
Okay, so these three pillars are all connected. First up, you've got direction. That's all about figuring out where you're going. It means you have to balance what you're seeing now with what you've learned from past successes. Second is dynamics. This is about making decisions with confidence. The author talks about balancing a time lock, the things you just can't change, with an option lock, which are the choices you decide to commit to. And finally, you have the leader, who brings the strength and integrity to see things through and to really guide the other two pillars. In this right here, this is the core philosophy. Real progress, true evolution. It's not just a straight line of wins. It's about what the author calls destructive failure testing. It's kind of like in nature, right? The whole point is to build teams that are so tough, so robust, that they can actually fail, learn from it, and come out even stronger. It's a completely biological way of thinking about building intelligence.
So, let's say you've done it. You've built the perfect team using those three pillars. Awesome. But now for the really hard part. How do you plug this powerful new team into your existing company or even just your own workflow without everything blowing up?
And here's the crucial thing to remember. This whole integration process, it really only has one main goal: to lower the risk. It's all about managing the friction that you know is going to happen when you stick a powerful, newfangled engine into an old, established system. The author gives us a really clear 5-step plan for this. You start with a shared vision and a clear structure. The basics. Then you get to a step that people always forget: bridging different cultures, and we're going to talk more about that in a sec. Of course, you've got to handle the practical stuff like resources, but that last step is so important. This isn't a one-and-done thing. You have to keep monitoring and evolving the integration itself. This really gets to the heart of that third step, tackling those cultural differences. On one side, you have this academic mindset, right? It's all about long-term research, discovery for its own sake. And on the other side, you've got the industry mindset, which is driven by product cycles, market demands, and making a profit. Now, these two aren't enemies, but they work on totally different clocks and have different goals. A successful integration is all about building a solid bridge between them. So how do you build that bridge? Well, the author says it all comes down to one thing: trust. And that trust, it's built on being radically transparent. This quote says it all. You have to be totally open about the wins and the disasters. That is the only way you create the kind of safe environment where people feel they can actually innovate.
Okay, so we've got the team, we've integrated it, but none of that is going to matter if you don't have the right person in the driver's seat. This takes us right back to that third pillar. And honestly, it's the most critical decision you are going to make: choosing the leader.
So what does this leader even look like? Well, it's not just about finding the smartest person in the room. The perfect leader is this amazing blend of hard and soft skills. Obviously they need the technical vision, but what's just as important is their ability to communicate, to mentor their team, and to build a positive culture. They have to be in the trenches, deeply engaged, not just some name on an org chart. And the author's advice on how to find this person is super practical. It's way more than just a normal interview. He says you should talk to their peers, get your own team involved in the decision, but 2 points really jumped out at me. First, don't rush it. A bad hire here is a massive setback. And second, check your own biases. The author warns about that trap of hiring a more of me clone of yourself, because real innovation needs different ways of thinking. So there we have it. The team is built, the integration plan is set, and the leader is in place. The blueprint is complete.
But the source doesn't stop there. It ends by zooming way, way out and offers this really bold and frankly pretty provocative vision for what all this means for the future of humanity.
And here it is. This is the author's ultimate claim, and it is a huge one. He's saying we are no longer just along for the ride with evolution, we are now its architects. He argues that machine intelligence has become the main thing driving evolutionary progress on Earth. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's a staggering thought. So what is the endgame here? Where does this evolution lead? The author's dream future isn't one where all this power is hoarded by a handful of people. No, his vision is for a democracy of intelligence, where open systems give power to everyone. He's basically laying out a choice for us, this open, democratic future, or one where biased elites control the tech for their own benefit.
And that leaves us with this final massive question. The source material gives us a clear blueprint for how to lead this change on purpose. It says that with the right kind of strategic leadership, we can guide this evolution. The alternative? We just get swept along by it, becoming accidents of history. So the question for every single one of us is, which one is it going to be?